The federal government recognizes me as 530008961. But my name is Laura Holland, and my traditional name is Alumelia. And I want to say that I'm sorry that we missed our Mohawk sisters here today. We would have liked to see them and be with them, join with them. I know that I only have a few minutes, and it's okay. I only have a few minutes. One of the things that we are worried about and concerned about quite often is that what we want to say to you is interpreted and translated from our ancient languages that our grandmothers used. And we lose some of the interpretation in the translation when it's translated to English. And now it's being translated to another language. And we're really worried that you may not truly get the full effect of what we're trying to talk about, but we will do our best. And it's also really difficult because I'm not speaking to my own. If I were speaking to all Aboriginal women, the discussion would be different. I only have a couple minutes, so I'm just going to say a couple of things. In BC, when people were being forced to move on to reserves, my grandfather's name was John Baptiste, and he refused. He armed himself, and he held on to his little piece of land and said, "You are not moving me. You are not taking what is rightfully mine." And he said that he refused to be penned like an animal. So what they did after a standoff for a week was they let my grandfather have his piece of land so that he could raise his children. But what they did at the same time was create a reserve piece of land. So that meant that he could never profit from it. And his daughter is my grandmother. And she was very active on the ground, organizing in the Gitxsan and Wet'suwet'en land claims. I just want to say that I come from a long line of refusers. We refuse to give in, we refuse to give up. I also want to say that as a child, when I was given my Indian name, I was held up in a potlatch hall in front of everyone. And to each clan, I was introduced by my name. And each member of each clan had a responsibility to remember who I am, and that they needed to pass that information on to their young. And in the same tradition, in the same governance of our people, I want you to remember my little sister, Cherry Smiley. I want you to remember what she said today. I want you to take it with you. When you go home, I want you to remember what she said today. When I was on my way here, leaving Vancouver, I decided to pick up a newspaper, a free newspaper. There's a brief article in here. It says, "Safe home for at-risk women to be created." I'm going to read it. It says, "With any luck, 26 at-risk women will have safe and affordable new homes in the downtown east side when a new female-only supportive housing building opens its doors. A report goes to council today to approve renovations to a 2-story building at Jackson and Powell Streets, creating long-term housing for young women facing poverty and abuse, or who are looking to escape the sex trade. What's really unique about it is beyond just renovating the building to create new housing for women, they are going to create 6 modular units in the back of the building," said Councillor Carrie Jang. This is the disturbing part. That's the first time modified containers will be used for housing in the city. We're a group of women that have been struggling for our freedom and our safety and our lives, and we are offered containers in the city. We have quite a few critics and those that oppose us and are hostile to our perspective. And those would be pimps, pro-pimp advocates, some MPs and other people in governments. And they find flaws in our analysis and our politics. We've been accused of being soldiers for the abolitionist side in the debate of prostitution. We have our own analysis and our own politics and our own lives. And we have our own voices. Nobody can grant us our voice. We have our own voices. We know that the numbers of our sisters are real. The increasing numbers of women and children who are in prostitution are real. The numbers of our children in the ministry's care, the numbers of our people who are criminalized and incarcerated are real, and they continue to rise. Our struggles for safety and freedom are real, and our sorrow is not for sale. Our strength, our culture, our traditions are real. And the more our sisters teach our children about their proud heritage, along with the injustices done to us, the more they will rage against the racist and discriminatory systems and governments that attempt to exploit us and kill us. In Vancouver, there's a site called Insight, and it offers harm reduction, and it's a safe place for IV drug users to inject any drugs. And what we see harm reduction is as a business and a triage in the war on women. Harm reduction offers us only survival. We see that also as an attempt to reform desperation, when what we want is life, liberty, and dignity.